Jobkeeper dependent suburbs. Let's have a look. Good morning, everyone. Florian.Heise here, and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. I've got my morning stein of coffee, and I thought we'd have a look at this article from Yahoo Finance that was sent to me by a few viewers. It's looking at suburbs or postcodes. Postcodes, we don't use suburbs anymore according to ABS. Anyway, postcodes most at risk when Jobkeeper ends. Or I like to say suburbs that are dependent on Jobkeeper. Now, yesterday we looked at an article that was discussing the potential fiscal cliff in 100 days that Australia faces. And there seems to be more and more discussion or pushes in the media for the continuation or extension of Jobkeeper. Now, you've got to remember, this is a bailout for businesses due to a state-forced shutdown of the entire economy. So most of these businesses really, they had no control over this situation. So coming out of this, regardless of what happens, businesses are going to adapt and change. And the question I put to you, do you think businesses will prepare and hedge against the risk of another potential shutdown now that this precedent has been set pretty much on a global level? Or will they lobby for more government intervention and support? Personally, I prefer businesses and people to prepare themselves, to put money aside, to have a stash. But somehow, I think the opposite will happen. So around 3.5 million Australians have received Jobkeeper support under the $70 billion scheme, but some areas have been more reliant on the plan than others. So, are these going to be areas that if Jobkeeper doesn't continue, that you might swoop in to get a bargain price, or we may have forced sales? If people have been smart, they've got their mortgage holiday, they've got their Jobkeeper, they've got someone on Job Seeker with the bonus, they'll be stashing away as much money as they can right now, building up a reserve. Will they continue to make their mortgage repayments afterwards? Will Jobkeeper disappear and then boom, they start going into arrears? Or will it take a couple of months? I think you won't see it until February, honestly. I think it'll be a bit delayed. If they just pull it, but they'll taper it out. Do you think they'll have the guts to just pull it? New data to be released by Treasurer Josh Frydenberg and seen by News Corp on Thursday names the postcodes claiming the most Jobkeeper payments. It comes amid debate on whether the payments should be extended to certain industries and groups. In its latest economic outlook, the Organisation for Economic Cooperation and Development, the OECD, called on the government to extend the Jobkeeper program. Maybe before we contemplate doing that, we should open up the borders so our tourism industry has a chance even to fight back and to rebuild. Right now they don't. Right now they really don't. And this is a huge industry. I'll bring up this chart here to show you, everyone. $60 billion, part of our GDP. 600,000 plus employees. It's a big industry. They're copying it now that adventure tourism, they're going to lose insurers. They're pulling out of that. They're copying it because international flights have been cancelled. But they copped it last year because of the bushfires. And now our borders are closed, so you can't even go state to state. We can't get all those Victorians living in, the cold climate there, coming up to nice, well, actually bloody cold Queensland right now. But for them, it'll be warm. When I grew up in Victoria and came here, it felt warm. We'd go to the beach and all the locals would look at us like we're insane, but still, it helps for tourism. And, well, perhaps being locked up and essentially under house arrest, there'll be a lot of people that want to get a change, want to go head to the beach, go out, relax in a hotel room and get room service. Or maybe that's just what I need. I should organize a camping trip with the kids. What do you reckon? What do you think a camping trip is like with 5 children? It's actually awesome, but they get so dirty. They just don't care and they go and play. It's part of life. Anyway, extraordinary policies will be needed to walk the tightrope towards recovery, OECD chief economist Lawrence Boone said. High public debt cannot be avoided, but debt-financed spending should be well targeted to support the most vulnerable. Well, yeah, it can. It can be avoided. It most certainly can be avoided. But then you're going to get destruction in the economy. It'll be creative destruction. There'll be new opportunities that emerge out of it. But there's no political will for it in Australia, everyone. There's no political will for suffering. We need to protect people. We need to protect people from what, in some ways, sure, it's a government intervention, but it is a disaster. It is an unforeseeable disaster that has occurred. Well, then again, the economic calamity would be definitely foreseeable, but you know what I mean. However, the government has refused to extend the scheme, leaving industries like aviation and tourism in the lurch. And the new Treasury data reveals the areas that are also eyeing the September deadline with most concern. So the top JobKeeper postcodes. The Sydney 2000 and Melbourne 3000 CBDs are the regions claiming the most JobKeeper payments, followed by Sydney's Liverpool and Melbourne's Hoppers Crossing. Liverpool is home to nearly 4,000 businesses claiming the subsidy, while the crossing is at 3,681. Both Liverpool and Hoppers are manufacturing hubs. Tourist hotspot Cairns is at 4,870 in Queensland, has claimed the most. What, of everyone? Yes. With more people in the city on JobKeeper than in Brisbane and Surfers Paradise. Well, I wouldn't call Surfers Paradise a city, but you know what I mean. That's not surprising. We've got some viewers in Cairns who just, they're constant shock at what's happening in the tourism sector there, or in the real estate sector there. Werribee 3030 in Melbourne has 3,271 businesses on JobKeeper. So we can see here the number of businesses claimed. And there you go. But here's the thing. I can guarantee, I'll bet you, I will, pardon me. Actually, I need a sip of my coffee. 1 second. That's good coffee. I bet you there are a number of businesses that are claiming this subsidy that don't need it. I'm sure there's several in the health industry that don't need it, but are claiming it because they would be at a competitive disadvantage if they didn't take advantage of this handout, of this bailout. That's the thing. You're putting yourself at a competitive disadvantage, so people have to take advantage of it. So then you have people arguing against it, but then everyone is getting this. So you've got a conflict of interest. It's one of these problems with democracy, isn't it? So let's have a look where else. So Sydney, Haymarket and the Rocks, over 10,000. Melbourne, 6.6. Liverpool, Moorabank, Casula, 3.9. Trungina, 3.6. Cairns, 3.6. Werribee Point Cook, 3.6. Dandenong, 3.2. Where I grew up. Brisbane, Spring Hill, 3,000. You can't say I'm surprised. Adelaide, 3,000. Darlinghurst, 2.9. Gold Coast and Surfers, 2.9. Toowoomba, 2.9. Donnybrook, 2.8. Bella Vista, 2.8. Sandhurst, 2.7. Lisa Row, 2.6. Wentworth, 2.5. Burnley, 2.4. Southport, 2.4. And Nerang, 2.4. So Queensland isn't the highest, but we ain't doing too well. Particularly Southport and Nerang, they're lower socioeconomic areas. I'm surprised Ipswich isn't here, to be honest. But then again, they've probably been in their city's been in economic doldrums for some time now. So there we have it, everyone. Do you think there may be buying opportunities for properties to emerge in these suburbs if JobKeeper disappears? Do you think they'll actually remove it, or will they maintain JobKeeper? Or slowly decant off it? We'll have to see. We saw what they did with childcare. They pulled the plug on it. They want to get out of it. They know that they don't want people getting dependent on free money or getting used to free money. Because if you're used to... How many people have taken... If they're JobKeeper, they're working from home, they're getting the payments. How many people do you think have used this time to improve themselves, to learn new skills and build up their skill stacks? Or how many have sat at home watching Game of Thrones? As always, please let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments below. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and like to support the content I create here, there are a few ways you can. Sharing the content, helping the channel grow, commenting, and interacting is one of the best ways to help the YouTube algorithm know that it should share the videos around. Then you can support us financially via joining the channel on Patreon or YouTube. You can use our affiliate links at Amazon or eBay or Independent Reserve and Kucoin. We get a small advertiser's commission that doesn't cost you anything. It's a great way to support creators rather than the money going to Amazon. We also have Gold Pass that you can use from the Perth Mint. You can buy our own handmade merch that you can find on the HeiseSays blog. And finally, you can use PayPal. Take care, guys. Have a great day. I will see you in the next episode.